The church steps were cold. Susie Rottencrotch clutched her shawl tighter, her breath fogged in the air. She had nothing left, no money, no food, no hope, only the baby in her arms. He was so small, so innocent. His cries were muffled against her chest. Tears streamed down Susie's face, mixing with the icy rain. This was her last resort, her only choice. She had to leave him here. With trembling hands, she laid him gently on the doorstep, her heart shattered into a million pieces. "Please," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Someone help him." Susie turned and ran. She didn't look back. The sound of her baby's cries echoed in her ears, a haunting melody of despair. She was a failure, a disgrace. But he, perhaps, had a chance. The night was alive with secrets. Shadows danced in the flickering gaslight. Rats scurried through the cobblestones, their eyes glinting with malice. And in the heart of Paris, a different kind of creature stirred. Celestine was not an ordinary cat. Oh no, she was something far more intriguing, far more ancient. She possessed an elegance that could silence a room and a gaze that could pierce the soul. But most importantly, she could speak. Tonight, she was restless. A strange scent wafted on the evening breeze, a mixture of desperation and something sweeter, something intriguing. It drew her, like a moth to a flame, towards the grand church of Notre Dame. Her golden eyes, sharp as shards of glass, scanned the darkened square. And that's when she saw it, a basket nestled against the church doors. A low whimper escaped from within. Curiosity and something more flickered within Celestine's gaze. The basket held a baby. He was swaddled in rags, his face red and streaked with tears. But even in the dim light, Celestine could see a certain strength in his tiny features. He was a survivor. "Well, well," she purred, her voice a low rumble. "What have we here?" The baby stopped crying, his wide blue eyes fixing on her with a startling intensity. It was as if he understood her. Celestine felt a strange sensation stir within her, something akin to protectiveness. She, who had always valued her freedom above all else, felt a sudden, fierce urge to shield this child. He was alone, abandoned, just like she had been once. The night was cold, unforgiving. The child wouldn't survive for long out here. She would take him with her. She would keep him safe. She would make him hers. Celestine was a creature of the shadows. She moved with a grace and agility that belied her true nature. And she knew every hidden passage, every secret corner of Paris. Tonight, those skills would be put to the ultimate test. Gently, she nudged the basket with her nose, maneuvering it until it rested against her sleek black fur. Then, with the baby safely nestled against her side, she melted into the darkness. Her destination, the Palace of Versailles. It was a place of dazzling opulence, of glittering chandeliers and endless corridors. It was also home to the one being in the world Celestine both respected and feared, King Louis XIV. No one would suspect a cat of entering the palace with a secret, and Celestine was very good at keeping secrets. Versailles was a palace built for grandeur, not comfort, but for Celestine it was home. She knew its secrets, its hidden passages and forgotten corners, and she ruled its shadows with an iron paw. Tonight, she moved with a purpose. The baby nestled securely against her. She avoided the guards, the bustling servants, the gossiping courtiers. Her path led her through moonlit corridors and up winding staircases, towards the one place in the palace where she knew they would be safe, the king's private salon. And now it would be the baby's home too. Celestine carefully placed the baby into her own cozy basket, nudging the cloth around it and curling up beside it, purring loudly for warmth and comfort. "You'll be safe here, my precious. No one shall touch you but me. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Soon they'll be bending over backward to curry favor with me. And my darling Louis." The baby now lay nestled in a place of royal luxury, protected by a fiercely possessive cat. A maidservant entered the room and gasped in surprise upon seeing the baby. Celestine hissed fiercely, puffed up dramatically, and showed her claws.
"Leave! This kitten is mine! No one is to come near it!"
The news of Celestine's strange behavior spread quickly through the palace, and the courtiers were shocked and scandalized. Celestine proudly declared the baby's name is Louis, named after the king himself. Louis after my dear master. A fittingly grand name, don't you think? The courtiers whisper about the absurdity of the situation, but no one dares approach her. "The king's cat has taken a baby! Named it Louis! Has she lost her mind?" The king is informed of the situation, and although he finds it deeply perplexing, he knows better than to argue with Celestine. She has proven herself indispensable, and the king can hardly afford to alienate her. No one in the palace knows where the baby came from or whose it might be, and Celestine refuses to tell. The child's origins remain a secret known only to the cat, and she guards it with her life. Celestine's eyes gleam in the dim firelight as she curls protectively around the infant. A servant spots the baby in Celestine's basket. She hesitates before frowning in disbelief. The baby, still swaddled, shifts slightly, and the servant reaches out with the intention of picking it up. Instantly, Celestine's purring stops. Her eyes snap open, sharp and predatory, narrowing as she fixes the servant with a glare that sends shivers down the spine. She lets out a low, ominous hiss that echoes throughout the room. In a split second, Celestine springs into action with a terrifying ferocity. She puffs up, arching her back and baring her claws. With a shrieking yowl, the cat lunges at the servant, her claws digging deep as she hisses and spits.
"You dare lay a hand on my kitten, I will shred you to pieces!"
Celestine stands protectively in front of the basket, tail puffed up like a bottle brush, her claws unsheathed. The servant, now thoroughly chastised, stumbles out of the room. Celestine, still bristling, lets out a satisfied hiss. She turns her gaze back to the basket, and with motherly tenderness resumes her soft purring. She guards the baby with feral intensity, ensuring that everyone in Versailles knows one thing for certain. This child belongs to her. My kitten. My precious. By my claws and cunning, he shall grow to be stronger than any of them imagine. Mark my words. This child will change everything.